All right, peace everybody. How you doing? This is Kevin G once again, come with another video. It's my third video, and today we want to have a special situation. What we want to do in this situation is we want to examine Chris Harris. Now I know you heard that name heard before on several YouTube channels, and not in a good light. Pretty much it's been said that the brother's a liar, that the brother don't really believe in the Bible, that he doesn't really believe what's going on with the Mashiach in Christ, and his view on that has been totally skewed to the point where there's a total takeover of One West blanket over the situation as far as what he looks at. That the brother don't really dig into the Bible like that, that he really doesn't know what he's talking about. And I had the pleasure last night of having a good conversation with the brother and getting into what he believes in this, that, and the other. And I think he's a real good brother. So I want to introduce to you guys. Go ahead. I want to introduce the panel, actually. First here, we got Bleedo. If you want to say something, introduce yourself.
I think Bleedo on mute.
You on mute? You want to mute yourself, Bleedo, or what happened?
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, peace. Just here to be a witness and let the people know, me and Chris Harris is really cool and everything like that. I think a lot of people don't understand this position. And I'm just here as a witness on the show, and hopefully chime in when it's my time to speak.
All right, good deal. Next up, we have Yehukanan. I'm sure a lot of y'all are familiar with him and seen the contentions that's been going on. He's been on the last video, Contention Seekers. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Yehukanan.
Hey, what's going on, yo, audience? Saying this Yehukanan. Just come on over here, just share my testimony about what I witnessed between the conversation between Sister Sherry and Brother Chris.
All right, and of course, the guest of the hour, the one that this whole show is about, Chris Harris. Go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
What's up, man? My name is Chris Harris. Everybody knows me. I've been on Debate Talk for You Radio as well as a number of other platforms, and I've had a lot of debates concerning these very matters, and many more debates concerning issues and understanding of Scripture. So I'm here tonight to oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say good deal, but keep going, man.
Okay, so I'm basically here to clear up a couple of matters, clear up a couple of matters and rumors that was going on about me. And I want to start off by first saying I believe in the God of the Bible. I believe in the Bible, and I believe in Torah based. I believe in the New Testament being just what it is, new. It was not written during the time of the Second Temple period. Therefore, a lot of it cannot be taken, a lot of it needs to be taken with caution, because we know people have went into this book in totality and put their ideologies into it. So therefore, I can only latch on and cling on to the law or cling on to the Most High, as said. Now, first thing I want to do is address the rumors. And the rumors all started when I picked up the phone and said hello to a SHIELD member. And I regret speaking to any of them to this day, because it's been nothing but, rumors, false witnessing, and a lot of other shenanigans that go on when dealing with those individuals. And I'm not afraid to admit that. And I can stand up for myself and stand on my own 2 feet when I say that. So let's just get to the matter at hand. After Mikael did his lesson on Sal's show, that pretty much opened up a floodgate about the SHIELD Squad. And a lot of people were saying, yeah, that's what they be doing. That's what they be doing. So the way SHIELD Squad had been treating me, I decided to make a video. And I made a video about LaRon Campbell, because LaRon Campbell had been dropping my name, as you already know, Kevin, all throughout on his Hangouts, and running my name into the mud. Correct. So what I decided to do was drop a video on LaRon Campbell. Now, I met LaRon Campbell before I met all of them. And when I first came into this debate scene, he was one of the first people I was listening to. So one day we all decided to have a debate. and me and him had a debate on Isaiah 53. And I took him up on that, actually. And it seems like after that debate, a lot of people, they began to say, dang, Chris smoked him in that debate. And that's when our relationship began to change. He never really took my phone calls anymore.
Now, if you recall, do you know what that debate was about?
It was about Isaiah 53, the 53rd chapter. Who was that talking about? And I explained to him, you know, that's about Israel, you know, and I guess he didn't like the reception he got about the video. I'm not sure. I can't really say. But I do know I did not have a problem with him after the debate. It was a healthy debate. There was no arguing. As far as my concern was, me and him was still on good terms. You understand what I'm saying? So after that, I began to meet other people from his team. I met So Real soon after. I had a debate with him concerning the law. And that didn't bode too well for So Real. Then I met Sister Sherry, who in turn I met as what's the guy's name? Faithful to God.
Right.
Now, when I met Faithful to God, I'm gonna come out and say it. I never did like him. He was arrogant. He was pompous. He was rude, and he was pushing the narrative on whatever it was that you believed. He was trying to tell you, no, this is how you gonna believe it. So I didn't like that about him. So what it was, I just stayed away from that guy. And I took his phone call every now and then. And I think the last phone call I took, we were at work. I was at work, and he gave me a call concerning the divinity of Christ. So what I said was, okay, I told him some books that I was reading concerning the nature of him. And he told me, well, you should read these books. And I said, okay. So he emailed me the books, and I took the books and I read them. And I didn't agree with any of them because they were still lining up with a lot of Christendom. All right. And I tried to get back in touch with him, and he would never answer the phone. But every time I would hear them on a hangout, they would be discussing my nature. Discussing my name. You put my name in your mouth if I'm not there. You understand what I'm saying? So Sister Sherry will always call me. She had always called, and I had love for her. It was cool. She would send me quotes from the book of Corinthians or Ephesians or Galatians or Colossians. And, you know, I would just read them in the morning, or she would send me a gospel song, and they would always say stuff like, oh, we're praying for you, Chris. We're praying so hard for you, right? So okay, you can come back and
everything seemed very comfortable, and they were actually ministering to you and things of that nature.
Correct.
Okay.
So I would always say things like, well, if Isaiah 45 and 22 say, look to me and be saved, all you ends of the earth, why I gotta look to somebody else and be saved? You understand what I'm saying? Okay, and so I would always tell them that, and I would always send them scriptures back, but they would always say things like, oh, that's Old Testament. And I used to just, you know, I didn't want to be dealing with it because I noticed I would just be spinning my tires in the mud with them. So I began to talk to So Real, and So Real seemed like a good dude. You understand what I'm saying? But too many times our conversations became about debates. You understand what I'm saying? And I didn't want to have those type of discussions. And I would explain that to him. So every time I looked up, he would want to have a debate on Sal's show. I used to say, So Real, every time you talk to me, I don't want to be talking about me debating you. I don't always have to debate you just for you to call and say hello. You understand what I'm saying? So one more time, I went on So Real show, and we had a discussion, and we was talking about the law. But what ended up happening was, which offended me, was So Real made a recap video, sort of like laughing at me in the recap video. And he was just all like, I did a recap video on you, and you should listen to it. So I listened to it, and it was a lot of insults being thrown on that video. And I was just all like, is this what this is becoming about?
Were these insults about other people, or were they directed towards you?
They was directed towards me. Like they was insulting my intelligence. You see what I'm saying? And
Right.
to insult somebody, they don't always have to sit back and laugh, like say, "Shut up, idiot," or talk about your clothes. They can insult you in a manner where people won't take you seriously. You understand what I'm saying? And what they kept doing was I would read a prophet and they would go back to Paul. I would read the law and they would go back to Paul. And I'm all like, y'all only fighting Paul versus the law, Paul versus the prophet. Just say y'all Paulinites. Just say that. Or just sit up there and say that's what you believe in. Paul is the final prophet, and just say that. You know, and too many times it became a bunch of bickering back and forth. Now, let me explain something. One time, me and So Real, we had a discussion, because I got to tell everybody how this all built up. And in this discussion, he said the law don't guarantee eternal life. It never did. So what I did was, I listened to him. I took notes. Sister Sherry, G-Con, he was on the line. I think Faithful was on the line. I'm not sure. And all I did was ask questions. You understand what I'm saying? Because I said, maybe I'm seeing something wrong here with my study. So I began to ask them questions. And I wrote down all the questions. I can run downstairs and go get those notes and probably name the date, because I think I dated the notes also. But I asked about the law. I asked about Christ. I asked about the prophecies leading up to Christ. So what then began to happen was simply a lot of, see, Chris don't know what he's talking about. Have y'all ever heard the show that G-Con do called We Are Apologists? That's when my name started getting thrown around on there. And I used to be at work listening to it. And I used to be like, dog, why are they? And I used to hear my name just getting ran through the mud. So I would ask G-Con, send me an invite. And I would come on there. I would say my piece. Like I always hear them go to Jeremiah 31 and 31, but they don't never go to Jeremiah 1 through 31. Because if you go to Jeremiah 30, it clearly tells you every man shall die for his own sin. So, but the book of Hebrews tells you to start at verse 31. So I would come on there, state my piece, tell everybody I love y'all, walk in peace, and I'll keep on going. And when I would hang up, no sooner than when I would hang up, I'll still be listening. And I would hear Brother Jay, G-Con, and So Real, if he was on there, they'll begin to laugh at my answer. And I used to be all like, man, they just laughing at it because they know it's correct. You understand what I'm saying? So they got to get everybody to go like, what is he talking about? I'm reading the same book you reading. I'm trying to give you a full understanding on it. You understand what I'm saying? So I said there can't be a new covenant unless Israel and Judah are brought back together as one stick. Bottom line, end of story. So read Jeremiah 31, 1 through 35. Just read all of it. Don't read half of it. So every time I heard this show and I would talk to one of them, just by saying hello, they would bring up the discussion, a private discussion that we would be having, and they'll put it out on the show. And I would always hear it. I'm like, yo, man, I'm getting kind of tired of this, that my name getting brought up like that. Now, I know Yehukanan been on the show. I know you've been on the show. So that's how my name was really getting around, because there were other people that would call me like, yo, my man speaking dirty on your name. And I was just all like, oh, I ain't sweating it. But then after a while, the phone calls started coming in too rampant. So Mikael did a video exposing Shield. But before he did the video, he did a lesson on Sal's show. I'm a fast forward just a little bit. I think everybody got the context of what's going on.
Right on the head. Go ahead.
Okay, so Mikael did a lesson on Sal's show. And Mikael did the lesson talking about how people are spiritually retarded. And, you know, it was a good lesson. He wasn't so much talking about Shield, but he mentioned their name. And he was trying to give them a chance to redeem themselves and call in and apologize for hanging up on him in the hangout like that. Now, I called that show to try and get in contact with him and say, look, that's just what they do. They full of shenanigans. But I felt like, A, he didn't want to talk to me because I'm what they call non-messianic, and that's nowhere in the Bible, by the way. And B, maybe I just couldn't get through. So after he gave the lesson, I thought it was a good lesson. He told them, unless y'all apologize, he said this at the beginning, I'm not talking to y'all. I'm not talking to y'all. So little do you know, the first call that came in was So Real. So Real called in there. Here it comes. And he said he wanted to talk to Mikael Ben Israel. And he offered him a debate. Well, he challenged him.
Now he hit you up personally.
Who talking about So Real?
Right. He hit you up personally, wanted to speak to Mikael, right?
He hit me up talking about the Mikael situation.
Got you. Okay.
Right. So and I told him during that debate, he called and Mikael, he asked to talk to Mikael and asked Mikael a question. Now Mikael had already said, I don't want to talk to y'all at the beginning of it. I gotta show everybody the context here of what they do. And what happened was when he did that, he said, no, I don't want to talk to you, but you could talk to my reader. He's already established his point. Y'all play too many games, right? So Real could have apologized. So the next day, So Real made a debate about the Black Hebrew Israelites and Mikael Ben Israel lying on this man. And I said, wow, it ain't even been 12 hours and he already lying on my man, talking about, I heard your debates, they're trash and you a liar. I'm listening to this, but I listened to that whole debate that night at work. And I'm all like, damn, why is he lying like that? You understand what I'm saying? So
he heard this debate and he came out and basically says things that weren't even in the debate. Or
correct.
In that discussion. Okay.
Correct. He was saying like Mikael was scared of me. He didn't want to talk to me. And I was like, damn, Mikael, you must not have heard what I heard, because what I heard was at the beginning, Mikael said, I don't want to talk to y'all now. Y'all insulted me and you was rude to me. So I don't want to talk to y'all. So all of a sudden, So Real called up there and it's a running gag in the community. And he wanted to talk to Mikael. He said, would you do a debate with me? Mikael paused and he was like, no. So it's a running gag now in the community. Like, hey, man, let's talk. No. You know what I'm saying? So there was some light in that with the comedy portion of it. So he made the video. We got in contact with each other. I said that wasn't a good move. And of course, you know how they are. They'll defend themselves and make it look like they righteous on whatever it is they do, no matter what it is they do. And that same night, my name came out his mouth. And I'm all like, bro, I was just trying to show you that you was wrong for making the video and you lying on me on this We Are Christian Apologists show. Now, the thing about this Christian apologist thing on his show is y'all running around attacking everybody else and not even defending y'all stance. My thing is, if nobody's bothering y'all, why are y'all attacking everybody else if you're an apologist? You understand what I'm saying? That should be, it's simple. Nobody's attacking y'all. I don't really think you're on anybody's radar like that. So it's one thing to be doing it to edify, but then when you're doing it just to get likes and clicks, it's a problem. And it's a problem with our people that we got to resort to such a thing in order to garner some type of attention. So 3 days later, Sister Sherry called me, right? And Sister Sherry called me and we was just talking, going over scripture. No biggie. I still had the utmost respect and utmost love for that sister. She had never done nothing to me. And I'll say it again. She never did anything to me. I would always tell her, you need to check them dudes because they off the chain. But when G-Con said what he said about me on that video, Judah Naz and the Torah Knights got involved because he said Christopher Harris is a black supremacist. And I was like, what? And when I tell you, when he dropped that video, dude, it took off like wildfire. My phone wouldn't stop ringing that night. They was like, yo, he making a video about you. Sal Sultan called me. I mean, Award of Swordsman called me. You name it. Everybody was calling me about him making this video. So I was just all like, all right, cool. Now, I listened to it and I kind of laughed at the beginning because he was roasting my shirt, which I what did it have to do with black supremacy? But when I listened to it, I said, wow, there was nothing he said that would lead anybody to a conclusion that I'm a black supremacist. Nobody's ever heard me call any person that's white out of their name. Nobody's ever heard me say anything about anybody white. Nobody's ever heard that.
So let me ask you this. Where do you think that came from? Like, where did that narrative come from that you were a racist? Like, who came out and put that out? Because I haven't heard you personally say anything about that. Now, there was a video that we did where we talked about Christianity, true Christianity, and your name was in there. And they were like, do you know this man? And I told you personally in the conversation on this already, but I was like, I don't know the dude, but I'm going to comment on real Christianity. And I even had to apologize to you, bro, because what I was fed as far as who you were and the type of person you were, it didn't match, you know, what I was seeing from you. So I'm glad that you got a hold of me and I actually got to speak to you. When we was on the phone for hours, me, you, Hukanan, and Israel Doctrine, and you turned out to be a real cool brother. You are knowledgeable. You're just trying to be a sincere believer. But like the narrative that was out there that wasn't, you know, you were racist, this, that, and the other. Where did that come from, man? Like, how did that get started?
All right, this is how all that got started. A Facebook profile pic. That's it.
A Facebook profile pic.
Because I have Malcolm X as a Facebook profile pic. That's it.
What?
Nobody ever heard me say anything negative about another culture of people.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Because when was it? The last hangout me and you was on, Kevin G, when we both end up getting kicked off. G-Con did state that he said that Chris is a black supremacist because he has Malcolm X as his profile pic, and that came straight out of G-Con's mouth.
That is crazy to go ahead and just start off the jump, judge somebody based on the fact that they have a profile pic of Malcolm X. I mean,
correct.
You could have a major in African American studies, and you could have a picture of Malcolm X on your thing, but you never did anything or said anything in any of his hangouts to insinuate that you were a racist and you were against white people.
No, never.
Okay.
Never. Never.
Right. So I want to do this. I want to switch it up now because since we're talking about white people, I want to get into what you believe more in depth. What is your view? First off, tell me your full view, just to clear it out, of Christ. Like, what do you think of Jesus in the Bible?
I think he was a righteous teacher. That's as far as it goes. I believe in him as he is written, a man mighty in word and in deed. Okay, he did not fulfill the messianic prophecies contained within the scriptures, bringing Israel and Judah back together, the third temple being restored. Help me out here. The third temple being restored and bringing peace to the world. He did not fulfill those prophecies. He did not bring Judah back from all four corners of the earth, as it said that this Messiah would do. Now, I know during this time, I believe he wanted to do that. I believe he wanted to accomplish that.
Right.
Okay. But I'm sorry, because I heard someone speaking. Okay,
my bad.
So
that was me. I was letting y'all know I was back. I had got dropped out, so my bad. I'll mute my phone back.
All right,
okay, cool. All right. I believe that he was mighty in the word, like he taught the word. When you read the Dead Sea Scrolls, you can see the Beatitudes being read right there in the Dead Sea Scrolls. So what I see is a lot of amalgamation of texts being going on. Now, do I believe his words was anointed? Yes. Do I believe his deeds were anointing deeds? Yes. But he did not do as Luke chapter 1 verse 7 he said he would do, and that was defeat Israel's enemies. He did not do that, all right, from the hands of their enemies. And there's nothing wrong with that. You see what I'm saying? I always tell people that, like, no, he's not the prophesied Messiah. Okay, we can only go off what the scriptures teach us. Amos 3:7. I don't do anything in secret unless I reveal it to my prophets. My word does not come back void. We know all these scriptures time and time again. Thought that he was a Messiah, that's cool. If somebody wants to believe that he's a Messiah, That's cool. I have no problem with it. You understand what I'm saying? But if he lines up, if his teachings line up with Torah, I can't go against that. You understand what I'm saying? But as far as a death, burial, and resurrection, I have to physically believe in that in order to be saved. The God of this Bible never said anything like that. And that is my stance on it. And that is that. Like, now, let's keep what me and you spoke about between me and you. But I had to look into that, what you were telling me about last night. Remember we was talking about?
Yep.
So I had to be honest with myself. I said, let me go look into that. You know what I'm saying? That's the rest of that conversation is for another time. But I was just all like, interesting. You know what I'm saying? Because it never had been presented to me in that type of light. You get what I'm saying? And I had to look into that, and there's a lot of truth to what was said. You know what I'm saying? You're an idiot, or excuse me, you're blind when you begin to reject truth. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So, right. So when I hear them going like this, oh, Chris don't believe in Christ. He going to hell. I always say, did we believe in Christ when we got up off them boats? Not one slave was singing anything about a man named Jesus Christ. Not one. Not one slave. But they were singing songs about Brother Moses or Daniel or Ezekiel the prophet. They were singing songs about them. They were singing songs about Yahweh. It's recorded history. But they were never singing songs about anybody in the New Testament. So I would always just hear them say those little things like, come on, man. Like if you know if you know John chapter 1, 5-7 was inserted with that Holy Trinity doctrine, if you know that was inserted in there, why would you continue to read it and believe in that?
Right, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? If you read the law, he say, cling on to me. Deuteronomy 6:4 say, I am one. I'm one God, not one in unison, not any of that. And I stand firm on my belief, but some people, they don't like it when you stand firm on your belief. And that's where I began to have a problem with the Shield Squad was because we can have a disagreement, but why we can't love each other just because we disagree on something?
Absolutely.
Like, that's what I can never understand.
Right. Absolutely. Because the conversation we had last night, I was thinking to myself, why couldn't they display the same? Why couldn't they host the same hospitality? Basically,
right.
Me and you, you already know where I stand on that. You already know my thoughts on Christ. You already know Yehukana's thoughts. You know Israel Doctrine's thoughts. But last night in our conversation, I'm gonna leave the details out. But we were able to build off of one another and learn and say, you know what, brother, you were right. I'm gonna go look that up, or I'm gonna look into that, or this, that, and the other. Right. So it's like, you know, I really didn't understand for a series that say we are Christian apologists to do something like that. Now let me ask you this. What do you think of the view in which they take, let's say, One West as the view of Israelites? And then what they do is they pretty much machine gun that thought on every other Israelite they see, painting a broad picture like, oh, this is all of them, right? You heard the comments that I made before. A sister on the channel said they were pretty much atheists with the Bible. Saying that, saying that basically we're not convicted by Christ, or we're not convicted by the word of God. We don't believe, we don't have true conviction in our heart. And to make statements like that, like I said in my other video, to be an apologist, you have to be in a position in which you defend the word and you portray that truth of God out to the public. You don't take somebody, remold them into an image that you want them to be, which basically is a ad hominem attack, as well as it's an ad hominem logical fallacy, which means to change the character of a person or attack a character of a person to disprove their information. And there's another fallacy at play too. It's called a straw man fallacy. And a straw man fallacy means when you take one's argument and reform it to something that you can actually cut down and not really deal with the real McCoy, as they put it, of the or the real meat of the argument. So they decide to twist that and then make you into someone else and then attack that. And that's what we've been saying. This is why I'm doing this right now with you, because when I was on the last hangout with them, the one Yehukana mentioned that we were kicked out of. Okay, when we were in that hangout with them, we were cool. They was asking questions, but they kept switching the argument. And what they wanted to do, they wanted to put, even Yehukana, tell me if I'm lying, but the brother actually said, "I want to put you in a box." He said that. He said, I want to put you in the box. I want to see if you can get out of it. And I said, well, why would you want to put me in a box that I don't belong? Why would you want to categorize me as something that I don't believe or adhere to just so you can win your argument? And that's what those brothers do.
Right, you're right.
And then what they do is when you
you're right.
Yeah. And with the whole thing with that, what they did was they kicked me out and started slandering, talking about I'm a liar, that I'm gonna do this. When I went and started my first video, the brother said the next day, somebody dropped the video to him. He said, well, these brothers going off and starting their own cult. What? We start our own cult because we want to get together on YouTube and talk about the issues with the Christian apologist videos? Because our name is being slandered, we can't defend that? Us defending that, in other words, is us joining a cult. Really? It's getting wild. It's getting ridiculous. So I'm glad that you're here, Chris, although we don't agree on some spiritual aspects in scripture, but that's how we build and feed one another. Because when you deal, see, this is the problem. Here's the thing. When you deal with people who are like-minded, as far as they say, the truth prevails, is above all, right?
Right.
There's no reason to boast within ourselves. Oh, this is my position. I'm gonna stick to that. This brother believes that, so we're gonna battle and combat. I think that the circle that we have is to the point where it's like, you know what, brother, that sounds about right. So let me go ahead and look into that, and we'll see what's going on. Or can I get this information? Can we look at that? You know, unless the situation is obvious, in which we could say, nah, brother, you're clearly wrong about that. You know, right. Something that could be pointed out. But other than that, when it's something that maybe you haven't seen with your perspective, will be like, this is what it is. But to invite somebody on, to argue with them, and then when they start saying things, I'm going to switch up your argument, then I'm going to kick you out the room and then call you a racist, call you a cult member, call you a One West doctrine. Now, this is the next question I want to ask you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
One West.
Okay.
Chris Harris. Okay. Are you One West?
Nah. Nah.
Okay. Can you expound on that? Explain why you're not and how that came about.
All right. When I first started opening up the Bible and reading it, remember what I talked to you about last night? My studies was always on Africa, right? The entire continent, because it's not a culture, it's not a country. Okay, vocab? Remember, it's not a country, it's a continent. With that being said, let's continue. I was studying on the different cultures of Africa. And I would always I saw a group of people from the Akan tribe, or the Akan tribe, that called themselves Hebrews. And I was just like, interesting. I just kept it moving. I knew nothing about it, right? So I began to open up my Bible, and just one day I was just reading, because a friend of mine, you know, we went to a Street Fighter 4 tournament, which is hilarious, right? But he said, Chris, how do you know God? That's what he asked me. I was just all like, I don't know. That's what I said. This was like 8 years ago, 10 years ago. I said, I don't know. He exists. And he put me on a journey reading the scriptures. And all I did was read the New Testament. I never opened up the Old, because I looked at it like this. Oh, that's Old Testament. You don't have to read that no more. That's how I was taught. But as I began to read, and I began to go out there and teach the word, or teach the gospel, is what they say, I ran into these group of guys called the IUIC. And they was just all like, yo, man, we like how you breaking. It was right there in Orlando. They was just all like, yo, man, we like how you broke down that Paul. I broke down Paul Galatians 5 to a group of Christian brothers that I knew. And I said, that's not what that's talking about. That ain't doing away with the law, because now we got to find out what uncleanliness is. Now we got to find out what adultery is. Where do you find all that at, right? Because I had started opening up the Old Testament and reading it. It's something about the Torah that Sunday Christians don't like. They don't like reading out of that book. I don't get it. Right? I don't get it. So what happened was, and they said, yo, man, we would like for you, why don't you come one of our classes? And they started with the Jesus is black thing, and they started showing, all they do is show pictures, and they give you, it's like a doctrine they teach you. You see what I'm saying? And they was just all like, what nationality are you? And I was just like, I went maybe to 2 classes. That was it. And they asked me, what nationality are you? And I was just all like this. They asked me who my father was. I'm like, I'm black. I'm African. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I didn't know. I didn't understand the One West doctrine on how they judge with tribe. It's pretty
right.
it's pretty hilarious when you sit back and look at it. I get it because they are unified. They want unity, okay? But the fact they asking you these questions, I was like, I found it kind of hilarious. And I was like, we'll make you a lieutenant and you can have your own team. And they give you some paper, like a lesson book, and tell you how you gotta teach it. That's what they do. You know, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I went home and I looked through it, and I remember exactly what I did. I threw it in the garbage can. I said, man, that ain't how you do this. How they gonna tell you how to read the Word of God? You know what I'm saying? To people.
Right. It
you know what I'm
saying?
saying?
Yeah, but it sounds like one of those books you get from the Mormons. You know, like they got those pamphlets, like Watchtower and stuff. And
that's how I felt.
Basically the book, right?
So I was like, go ahead.
Go ahead. My bad.
Okay, so I had threw it away, and I never went back, right? But I was so interested in the history of the Bible, I began to dig into the history of the Bible, and I began to read about people like Nebuchadnezzar and all these other people that really did exist, King Cyrus. I began to read how these people really did exist. You see what I'm saying? I was like, oh, okay, cool, that's what's up. And then I began to see things in the Old Testament. I was like, what? And I began to read. I'm all like, wait a minute. Psalms, it said David is his only begotten son. And I swear I would be scratching my head and just like be confused on it. Like, what is going on here? And I'm all like, okay, you know, and then what a couple of guys had told me, they was like, oh, no, that's a prophecy about Jesus. And what I was saying was, how can it be a prophecy about him when he's saying David's name? You understand what I'm saying? So it was pretty interesting. But as far as One West goes, no, Christopher Harris is not no member of no One West camp, nor is Yehukanan, nor is anybody else that I know and hang out with knowingly. You understand what I'm saying? And if they were, I don't judge them based on that. I judge you based on your character. You understand what I'm saying? And your heart, and when you walk through my door. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I judge you, and that's how I gauge you. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not a judge. All I could do is what's best for my family. Like, look, man, I can't have you around. You're a good person, but you're a little wild. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's what I'm not part of any One West group. No, that's silly. Wow. I can't believe they thought that. Okay.
So we're dealing with a lot of things here. So far, we got the One West thing out.
Right.
I thank you for actually coming out and saying what you believe, because we got that out there as far as what you believe.
Right.
We talked a little bit about the contentions. Now, I'm not really trying to start anything like that, but I mean, if you want to get back on that and explain more,
cool.
I will ask you this: if you were to give advice to the members of SOG, in your words, what would you say to each of them? Personally, what would you say they can do to improve upon how they interact with those who say that they're of the Israelite understanding?
Okay, I'm going to give you the best words, and I learned this from an elder that Bleedo introduced me to. I had maybe a 3-hour discussion with Pastor William Bell. And I said, man, the legendary William Bell. And he laughed, and he says, no, I should be calling it, I should be saying the great Christopher Harris. Like he said, I'll be hearing your debates, young man. And you know what he told me? He said simply, he said, if there's any advice I can give you, he said, come up off the gas a little bit. Continue to study because you're there. He said, but just come up off the gas a little bit and go back to the way you used to be when you were teaching. And that's what had everybody's attention about you. Okay? To LaRon, go back to teaching, because that's when I knew you. I don't know this dude I see now. I don't even know you no more. You understand what I'm saying? To G-Man and to So Real, good luck to you. And once again, if I said anything to offend any of you, I apologize. But with that being said, we got to get into the Sister Sherry situation now, because this is when it all kicks off.
Okay. So before you get into that, I like to say those are some really good words that you put out there. I think it's very good that you're getting back to the teaching aspect, because that's something that I always got with Israel Doctrine about. When I get with him, I will say to that brother, you know, hey, teaching is the way to go.
Correct.
I mean, all this type of stuff that we're doing right now that's not really reaching out and doing anything. People aren't being edified. They like the drama. They like to see that. And I understand, because that's the type of stuff that I tuned into back when I first got familiar with the conscious community and all that. But that's some sound stuff to say, man. That's some real sound stuff to say about them going back to teach it, because this contention seeking, obviously they're not doing it right. Now, I would understand if the contention seeking was legit. Like, let's say, for instance, it's somebody out there saying some wild stuff. I mean, other people out there slandering. I could see them calling them out. Like, yo, you're not being Christ-like. Let's teach a lesson on this and show you where you're wrong.
Right.
But don't be sitting there calling a brother a liar, that he's One West, that he's a cult member, that he does, and then associate his character with those who you guys be talking about when they say they be, I don't know, I think I heard a story of somebody beating their wife or hitting their wife or having a relationship with their wife in that way, an abusive relationship. A lot of the stories I heard that came out of there was abusive relationships between a man and a woman, which are really domestic issues within the household. And sure, prayer, fasting, and teaching is needed to kind of subside that. But I mean, that's not the type of matter I think you should involve the public in personally. But I feel what you're saying on it now. You mentioned the Sister Cherry incident.
Correct.
I'm gonna let you have the floor and open up on that. What do you want to say about that?
Okay, so what happened with that was we got to go right back to the Shield Squad. When LeBron made that video about me, because like I said, that took off like fire. So what ended up happening was the Torah Knights, they went off and did a video on that because they didn't appreciate that. And they was just addressing the video. There was nothing disrespectful said about Sister Sherry in that video, or let alone said about LeBron Campbell. You understand what I'm saying? But anything that was addressed in that video are the sentiments that's being felt by a lot of brothers across this across the community right now. You understand what I'm saying? And Judah Nazareth was trying to tell him, look, bro, you got to wake the hell up. That's all he was telling LeBron. There was nothing contentious about it. It was nothing insulting from the heart where them two brothers can't never get together and talk. So once again, it was him, Judah, defending his brother. You understand what I'm saying? And I appreciate and I love that man for that. I appreciated that. Okay, so me and Sister Sherry was talking on the phone, and one morning she called me around 7 o'clock, just having a heart attack about this. I'm all like, everybody know I'm an engineer. I work from 6 at night to 6 in the morning. And I mean, my eyes weren't even closed yet. So she come blowing my phone up, and she was yelling and crying and just so emotional about it. Like, you could tell she was shaking over the phone. Like, how could you let them talk about me like this, and you knew they made this video about me? And I'm all like, so I was just all like this. What are you talking about? They didn't even mention your name. They probably said your name one time, and they said, Sister Sherry is a Christian. That's all he said. He didn't really say a lot, right? And he didn't insult her. I'm like, the brother not even cut like that. And she just kept on overstepping what I just told her and making herself a victim of nothing. You understand what I'm saying? It was nothing. Yahukanan heard the video. A lot of people heard the video. So I was just all like, you yelling at me, goodbye. That's what I told her. It's too early in the morning. I'm trying to get some sleep. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So what happened was she called me back because I didn't have to work that day. So I was on the phone with Bleedo because we trying to get a business started. I was on the phone with Yahukanan because I talk to him every day, and he believed in Christ, but I still talk to him every day. And I call him my big brother. You see what I'm saying? Affectionately. And they have been known to say things like, why do you talk to Chris Harris? He's not a believer in Christ. How can you call yourself how can you sit up there and say you're not a believer in being anointed? That doesn't make any sense. But that's another story. All right. Right. So
we had a brief discussion about that, and I asked you, do you believe that Yeshua is anointed by God? And you said what?
Yes, I did believe he was anointed by God.
He believed Yeshua is a Mashiach, But his thing is he the Mashiach. I think that's a brother you could really work with. I mean, if y'all want to say something, I think that from my perspective, I can rock and study with somebody on that, because you're not rejecting him outright. What you're saying is, I don't see that part of him yet, but I do believe he is sent by God. Like Nicodemus said, even in his understanding, he said, we know that you are a great teacher of God. You were sent by God. You know?
Right.
So, but go ahead. Let's get with the cherry situation. My bad.
Okay, cool. So, and does anybody call him David Christ or Saul Christ or, excuse me, Solomon Christ? No, they don't. So that, like I said, that's another story. But let's continue on with the lesson. What happened? So I hung up the phone on her, and later on that day, I was on the phone with Bleedo and Yehukanan and a friend of mine named Askia. And we was all talking about basketball, boxing, the Bible, just dudes on the phone. Sometimes Bleedo will call me because he just at work and he bored, you know what I'm saying? And we'll shoot the shit, you know what I'm saying? I'll tell him, you know, we'll be talking about music. It don't matter, you know what I'm saying? And she called. And I said, hold on. And I clicked her in. And what happened was she started talking about that Judah Nass situation again. And I said, well, you know what, Sister Sherry? I apologize for that. Okay, I apologize for that. You know what I'm saying? If he offended you, I'm sorry. And I'll apologize on behalf of all them brothers. Now, Bleedo and Yehukanan heard me clearly say it. And she still continued to stay on it. And I said, I've already apologized. What do you want me to do? Christ said, forgive your brother 70 times 7. Let it go. Right? So I hung up the phone with her. I told her, you know, have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Later on in that day, she sends me a text message again saying, would you like to come on the Shield Squad show and apologize? I didn't answer the text message. She sent it to me again. Right? No, Yehukanan sent it to me because she forwarded it to him. She sent it to him and he forwarded it to me. And I still didn't answer her. Then she sent it to me playing that victim. You're just heartless and you're godless and you're all this. You don't care about anybody but yourself. Hence, I've already apologized now. So now they want to try that spiritual terrorism on you. So what I did was I sent her a text message and I said, no. That's what I told her. And then I got more of those spiritual terrorizing texts like, oh, you need help. You don't believe in Jesus anyway. I started getting all these text messages. So finally, I snapped. And I told her a thing about herself. I said, what you need to go do, choice words, go chill with your husband.
Okay, hold on. Before you say it, audience, if you got any kids listening, you know, but go ahead, bro.
Okay, I'll just stick with it with choice words, and leave me the choice word alone. Because at this point, I done snapped. I've already apologized to you, and you continue to call me with all this threatening and begging me and bantering to be on this show. I'm not interested in going on Shield show. I know how they get down. It's a mixture of, I'm going to tell you what that show to me is about. It's a mixture of G-Man and a lot of, we're holy rollerism is what I like to call it, and them pointing the finger at you. But when I was on the phone with her and both these brothers that's on this thing tonight, I said, now will y'all apologize to everybody else out here that you've labeled since I've apologized to you, since you want to stay on this? She said right there over the phone, no. And I said, okay, but I've apologized to you and that's still not good enough?
So
that's what happened.
So in asking for she came to you complaining about this situation. You actually apologized to her, say, look, if it offended you, if this what it was, my bad. But then she hit
Correct.
you up again saying, well, come over here and say it on the video. You're saying,
Correct.
no, I think I did enough. And as she kept pestering you, even through Yehukanan, you finally said no. And you used some choice words, as you say. But then after you apologized to her again, you actually asked her, now, would you apologize to them for defaming their name? And she says no?
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was on the phone when she called back twice. I was on the phone one time when it was just me, Chris, and her. And then I was on the phone the other time when it was Bleedo, Chris, Askia, and Bleedo. It was like I think all four of us was on the phone. And so when she called, she was saying, you know, hey Chris, you know, you knew about the video, you knew this and knew that. So she started questioning Chris about her character. And he was saying, like, you know, basically, you know, you're a good person and I don't see you this way and I don't see you that way. And he was like, well, tell her, Yehukanan, what I ever said about her. And the only thing I said, he said that is that you are emotional, you know, and that was it. And so he apologized to her. And he's like, well, what do you want me to do, man? It's like, you want me, wait, what do you want me to do, man? That's what he asked her. He's like, the only thing I can do is talk to the brother. And that's it. And I can address him. And I will address him later on because we're supposed to be having they were supposed to be having some kind of hangout or something like that. They're supposed to be getting together. And it just seemed like that wasn't good enough for her. And she was just harkening on it. I don't even think she heard him apologize, because when I talked to her maybe a few days, maybe about a week after that, I told her, I said, the man apologized to you. And she said, well, I didn't hear him apologize. I'm like, yes, the brother apologized to you. So I was like, hey, man, you holding him responsible for what somebody else did. So she was harping on, oh, he's guilty by association. And like I told her, I said, well, if that's the case, and I told her, if that's the case, I said, look, you got mad at me because I held y'all responsible for some G-Con did, and I called the whole Shield Squad out. I said, but then I apologized to you for calling the whole Shield Squad out when I should have just kept it on G-Con. But she didn't want to see it that way. So I'm like, well, you got to do the same thing with Chris then. I mean, how are you going to hold Chris responsible for what something Judah Nazareth said? But you're treating it as if Chris said it himself. But she was like, well, you're guilty by association. And that was it. And then when she wouldn't let it go, so all four of us was on the phone when she called in, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, and Chris apologized to her again. And Bleedo can testify to that because we were all on the phone. And he said, hey, look, I'm sorry. You know, what more can I do? What more can I say? You understand what I'm saying? I don't see you in that type of light as you're asking me. And that was it. I yield.
Wow, man. It's like some really big ego stuff going on here, it seems like. I mean, this is crazy. But here's the thing that I don't get. We have people on that panel and leaders in that group who known us for years and known us very well. Like, I don't know, how long would you say you have known G-Con, Harris?
I probably known him for about a year solid, but I've known of him for about 3 years hard. 3 years hard, yeah. Okay. Because I used to listen to his shows.
I know that you known him for a little bit, but what it was funny about it too is that there was a good outlook on everything. Like when I first got in contact with Yehukanan, I heard of you, Yehukanan, actually through G-Con. He was like, yo, I met this brother, you know, he real cool. You know, his name is Yehukanan. He really want to get in touch with you. He want to talk. You remember that time when Ron was telling me to give you, or you was going to give me your number or whatever? And
right.
It seemed cool. That. Like he knew us personally. He knew me for a while. I knew G-Con since like 2013. And we knew each other for a little bit. But like, then when the gears switched, like, oh, One West is our enemy. This is what I told him. I said, bro, you got to stop using the shotgun and you need to use a pistol or a sniper rifle. And what I mean by that is this. When you go into a room full of Israelites, people that call themselves Israelites, you can't be just going there and blazing. You got to, the doctrine that you want to knock down, look for that doctrine. And when you find the doctrine, don't use a shotgun, because when you pump that thing and hit, it's a pellets. You know, it spreads, right? You're going to hit the people beside them on either side. And your intention is not to attack everybody, but you just want to attack this one thing. So I told him, keep your shots low. Shoot you're going after. But again, we see the same theme over and over again with that group. That if you call yourself an Israelite or even associate yourself with any type of Hebraic thought, there's automatic red tape put on you, as though they already know what you believe. They already know where you're going at. They already got a preconceived idea of everything that you believe and all that. And that is frustrating because they even try to put stuff in Mac's mouth. Like Mac is not here to speak for himself. Hey, what's up, Cassell? Cassell's on the side. It's a really good brother as well. He could comment a lot on what we're talking about right now. But the brother was like, let me see if I can find that. And I could show you exactly what it is. Chris Harris, if you want to go ahead and continue actually with that story or of other things you want to put out there to clear your name, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up a video to show exactly what it is that we're talking about. Okay? So go ahead, bro.
Okay. All right. Well, I know Bleedo's on the line, and I know he wanted to share something because I know he doesn't he can't stay on the line too long. He got a family, so I know he might wanted to say his piece and keep it moving. So if he's there and he wants to share something, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, I was just listening in, man. I'm chilling right now. But yeah, I was on the line also and wanted to say that I heard Chris pretty much apologize. Can I be heard? Just want to make sure I ain't talking to
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So like I said, I was also on the line too. And I also heard Chris apologize to Sister Sherry. Now I don't know none of these people. You know, I've been around. I've been knowing LaRon for maybe 5 to 6, maybe longer than that. I don't know, but I've been around the debate talk for you audience or the crowd. I used to debate on there a lot, so I know of LaRon. Don't really know of the other people so real and all of them. So I really don't have much to even really say about his squad or whatever, but. Overall, you know, like kind of what Chris Harris was saying about LaRon as far as being the teacher, I think that LaRon definitely needs to get back to that, you know what I'm saying? Because now what I see from them, just from me being around a little bit of time, is they do a lot of nitpicking and a lot of arguing in a sense and want people to follow what they teaching versus basically dealing with the text. LaRon always was a brother. You know, he was never an Israelite. You know, when I used to be on there, I used to go at Israelites or whatever. I used to debate Israelites a lot. I used to debate Israelites a lot. And LaRon, you know, that's kind of how we got cool or whatever in a sense. So LaRon was never one that took the Israelite side. He always was against the Israelites. So I think that with this Shield squad or with this squad that they forming now, this is kind of what he always wanted. So now that he got the Shield squad, now he got somebody that can go to war with him. I think he's taking that a little bit too much to the head. He's not dealing with the information like he normally does. More so dealing with slander and attacking people just, you know. And I spoke with the brother, you know, so it's nothing that I'm saying, you know, behind his back or saying, but you know, that I wouldn't say to him. Because I've been knowing him long enough not to talk behind his back. So, you know, like I said, overall, I think, you know, Sister Sherry, like I don't know her in a sense, but I do know if you come into a game where there's people that slandering other men, that things can get ugly. You know what I mean? So I do know that I did read the comments that Chris had typed to and everything, but he also did apologize for it. So I feel like if you're gonna be a Christian and, you know, say you're a follower of Christ, then you have to carry yourself a certain way, and forgiving somebody is a part of that. You know what I mean? So if the brother say, hey, I'm done with the situation, you know, I apologize for what I said, or I apologize for what's been said, then she got to be, you know, Christian enough to forgive him and just move on. Because not everybody going to see things the way that you see it. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to add that, and, you know, I'm going to continue listening.
Okay, so what I want to...
I found a section. Hold on, my video went out. Hold on a second. All right, so I found a section here in the video to give an example of what we have said, and I want to play a sample and let me know if you guys can hear this.
There are certain things that's in the law that is not amongst the G-Con.
Can y'all hear that?
Yep.
Okay, now listen to this dialogue, and this is the thing that I didn't like. Now I got love for the brother and everything is cool, but these are the type of things that I hate in these hangouts when we do this and impose new ideas on other people's. Just listen to this.
Let me say this, okay? Because I need to clarify something, because you seem to keep strawmanning me. I am saying that you're saying that the law has been done away with. Okay, using your position, I'm asking you, if a person were to marry in America, okay? Let's just be real. In America, if a person wanted to marry his half-sister, okay, or maybe want to marry his stepmother, okay, you would say to that person, they are wrong, even though you're not using the old. If you're going to say that the law has been done away with in the Old Testament, you would still say that that person is wrong. You would have nowhere in Scripture to back that up with. You would just say that they're wrong. I would not do that. I don't agree with you. I don't think that's okay to do.
You say that the white man gave you the Bible, right?
No, man. My God, man. See, that's what I'm talking about, man.
Hold on. I mean, my bad.
How you gonna just put me in a position that I've never even said that?
Okay, let me.
Wow.
Hold on. You say that the white Christian. I mean, I'm sorry. You say that the white man gave you Christianity. That's what you said.
I
right?
never said that in my life.
Okay.
Stop it.
So let me use that for example. Let's say that you did say that. Okay. Now watch this.
I never said that. How about you say I didn't?
Okay.
Now, if you heard the brother, he said, I never said that in my life. And then G-Con tried to say, well, let's say that you did say that.
Yes, he just said it.
So my thing is that what's up with, see, that to me,
crazy.
see, look, it's not, I'm not against the people. I'm not against when they teach good things, but that type of stuff is wild. The brother just said, I never said that in my life. And then he says, well, for the sake of argument, let's say you said that. In the side chat, I was there.
He was trying to create. He was trying to create something that wasn't there.
It wasn't there, right? So the thing about it is that when I looked at the side chat, people were ignorantly agreeing with it.
Right.
They were like, yeah, he said that. And they were like, yeah, I remember he said that. And the brother never said anything like that.
Right. Zombies.
And they just following, man.
It's the same thing I had asked. Like, when did I become an extremist? You know what I'm saying?
And the same thing occurred now. Okay, so I want to ask permission first. Yehukanan, is it okay if I mention the situation when you brought up the DNA video that you made?
Yeah, you good. Go ahead.
All right. So even with that situation, see, the thing is, I'm not against Shield Squad and when they teach and stuff. Like, if it's Bible against Bible, cool. Let's deal with Bible and Bible. Let's deal with the word. It's going to agree with itself, and we will come out learning something, whatever like that. But to call people liars and to slander them and everything else, that's crazy. Now, Yehukanan is a Marine, proud Marine. My brother's a Marine too. My brother just made staff sergeant. So I know having a Marine family, my uncle and my aunt, I have mad people in the Marines and the Army, right? I got a lot of respect for the military. So Yehukanan just simply makes a video talking about DNA. He just simply making a video saying, hey, LaRon, you contradicted yourself, brother. I just want to show you. He didn't show no hate in the video, nothing like that. But in his response to Yehukanan's video, in the opening of the video, he says, look at his brother. He got a rifle in the background. Whoa, what does that matter? The brother's not even threatening him or nothing. He says he's got a rifle in the back. And then he knows Yehukanan was in the military. And then I said in the side chat, hey, bro, he's in the military. That's an M4 carbine. That's standard issue.
That's standard issue, correct.
You can't say that he's a terrorist or anything. Then he says this brother is an extremist. He extremist religion. You could just look at this. Look how crazy this brother looking. Then he's like, if you go to this brother's channel, he got all kinds of extremist stuff and videos and stuff. And I told him, I said, you got to cut that out. And I was mad at LaRon because he should have known better. I said, bro, don't do that. I said, when you calling somebody an extremist, and you know that Black Hebrew Israelites are a part of the terrorist watch group. You do know that, right? They actually got Black Hebrew Israelites on the FBI list of watching them. And then you coming on a live show on YouTube and saying that this brother's an extremist and he got a gun in the background and he's this, that, and the other. That's the wrong keywords to use for a black man. I'm just saying. I'm like, then I was like, bro, you can't do that. I said, this, you can get this man in trouble. You can get people in trouble like that. If I had a job, my job, like if I did a video like that and my gun happened to be in the background and I said that, and then somebody from HR were to see that video, bro, it's going to really come into question a lot of things about my character. And my job. So I'm saying we can't do stuff like that, man.
Yeah, Kevin G, he knows that. Let me tell you, he labeled me and you a One West. And I told him, I said, don't do that, bruh. You know, I got word to him. He started trying. He wasn't picking up the phone, but I got word to him. And I said, look, man, you know, the brother is putting my family in jeopardy because my wife, we're being looked at by the government. You know what I'm saying? My wife we're applying for a visa. My wife, she lives in Guyana. So I got her and the children, you know what I'm saying? I applied for them some visas and, you know, they got to do interviews and this and that. And, you know, and I was letting them know, like, hey, the brother is putting, you know, he's putting, you know, my family in jeopardy. You know what I'm saying? And I told Sister Sherry, I'm like, look, you need to tell him to come talk to me because I don't think he knows the severity of what he did. You know, I know sometimes G can't be joking or whatever. But I told her, I said, if he put my family in jeopardy, that me and him are going to have a problem. But instead of her listening to what I was saying, she just took it as a threat. So she just tells them, oh, Brother Yehukanan threatened him. And I said, I ain't threatening him. I said, I'm just letting him know that if he puts my family in jeopardy, then we're going to have a problem. I said, just like if I did something to put your family in jeopardy to take food or something out their mouth or something, I know me and you are going to have a problem. So, you know, and I told him one time at a hangout when after all this happened, I said, look, bro, you don't understand. You put, you know, my family in jeopardy as far as my wife and them getting visas. I said, and you put my military, my check, I get, you know, disability from the military. I'm not the same anymore. My body got hurt for serving. I was in an accident. I said, look, you're putting the disability that I get from the military, you're putting that in jeopardy on a lie. You know what I'm saying? I can understand if it was true, but now you're lying on me. You understand what I'm saying? And you put some things in jeopardy. You're messing with my livelihood. You know what I'm saying? And I asked Sister Sherry, I said, listen, what sin did I commit by owning a gun or having a gun in my wall? I said, what sin did I commit and what law do I break? Because the Second Amendment gives me the right to own a gun, right, to bear arms. So I didn't commit no sins. So, you know, they try to paint this false narrative because if you don't agree with what they teach or whatever, then they want to say One West. They want to label you One West, you know, and that's not right. We're not all going to agree. I'm pretty sure all of us on this panel, we all don't agree on everything. But one thing we can do is build and come in love and let the truth prevail. I yield.
Absolutely, man. I agree with you on that. And you know what? I'm glad that we're doing this because I want this to be a humility thing. Now, if the response from them is, oh, we're going to make a video exposing them. Nah, I think everything we talked about save the situation that Chris been through. He's telling us out of his own mouth his experience. So it's not like we're exposing anything. This is Chris's experience and what he dealt with. But as far as the things that I played back, the things that Yehukanan, you talked about, this stuff has already been shown in public, correct? This stuff is out there for everybody to see already. We're just pointing it out.
Correct.
So what I hope is that this serves as a, like, okay, if they see this, I hope Terry sees them like, all right, I need to fall all the way back there. Let me fall back. That's it. If Laurent said, like, all right, I'm only going to call you out on your folly when it comes to the scriptures, but I ain't going to call you One West and this and the other. I'm going to fall back. And then I hope everybody else follows suit. I hope So Real get that. I hope Faithful to God get that. You know, anybody else gets that, you know? And then just kind of fall back. They need to facilitate and categorize each person in what they believe in and deal with them on that level. Now, when you do that, you're going to get real respect out of your community. You're going to get more respect out of your community. You're going to get more respect out of the person that you're correcting or you're dealing with. And then everything's going to be peace. But to be coming out and be saying, these people, One West, they pushing this doctrine. Like, this dude knew me for years, man. And he knows I'm not One West, man. In fact, we be joking Israelites on the corner wearing the leather all the time. Because I gave him the joke. I don't know if he ever used it, but I seen him use it a couple of times. I be calling them Israelites Eddie Bauer edition. Right? I said the Eddie Bauer edition. I said, if you look at the label on their clothes, I said, it doesn't say wash and press and hang for 10 minutes. It says wash with hose and apply Armor All. You know what I'm saying? So all those jokes we saying together on this channel. But then he turns around and say, oh, you on West, Kev. And it's like, what, man? Come on, really? So it's just, I don't know why twisting the narrative. I don't know what's the deal. All of that. I don't even know if somebody on the team is like, yo, I'm going to tell you right now, man, Kevin is really one West. You need to turn against him. He probably took the advice and was like, you know what? You're right. He probably is. And they just went right at it. Because LeRon he's a bull, right? Because I know the cat for a little bit. He's a bull. If you say anything or show any sign of red, right? Just making an example, a visual example. If he sees any red, he's gonna go crazy. Like if you in the hangout and he doesn't know you, and you say one thing that don't agree with what he believes, he's gonna come at you. He's gonna come right at you. But when he comes at you, you know what was the saying? A bull in the china shop. When they see something, ain't gonna get them berserk, but then they're gonna be breaking everything inside. They break up the whole room. They just go crazy. And that's what I've been noticing lately with me and him is that when I come into a room with him or a presence in a hangout, he goes crazy. He kicks it up a notch. Because I guess within that, what he's trying to say, he probably has disappointment, this, that, and the other and everything, which I feel like we could talk about, but there's no reason to take Chris Harris and say that he's this, that, and the other. There's no reason to take Yehukanan and say he won West and doing this, that, and the other. There's no need to take me or anybody else and say that and try to slander people and all that. So, you know, I mean, come on, man. It's just his character. And what's crazy about it is that we will actually recognize this, bro, this is your character, man. But he will acknowledge it, but at the same time, there's no correction. It's like, yeah, I know I'm like this. But it's like, all right, bro, then the only one who could change you is you. You gotta calm that down. Nobody's saying this. You putting words in people's mouth. You trying to do all this. He wants to go all in. So, I mean, that's just crazy. So what I wanted to do now is, I don't know if Bleedo want to say something freestyle or you want to say something freestyle, Yehukanan. But Chris, did you want to say anything freestyle in relation to the situations we talking about?
Well, just finishing clearing up the situation where it got drastic. Where it got clearing up the situation to bring in where it got drastic at where it reached its peak was I was at work last 2 Saturdays ago. 2 Saturdays ago, I had looked on my Google Hangout and I noticed there was a invite from G-Con. And I said, oh snap, let me go on here. And I clicked on and Vocab Malone. When I went on there, I noticed it was Vocab Malone. It was this other couple. And it was G-Man, and they were just going in on Black Hebrew Israelite, this and this and this and this.
Hold on one second. The couple you talking about is Mac and his wife, correct?
No. This was a white couple.
Oh, okay.
This was a white couple. Okay, and they were laughing at the brothers from One West, and they were pretty much saying, like, no, the things they were saying on there was just like, I was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, you hear so much, it sounds like jealousy almost from the other side. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, it is them. Okay, well, we just gonna denounce them then. You understand what I'm saying? It seemed like that's all they doing. And what Mikael is holding to is true. They went and got some brothers that just don't understand because they've been raised in Christianity, right? Just Sunday church, okay? And they not understanding the historical significance of Israel, right? And what role they play. So I listened and I listened and I listened and I listened. And then finally they said, well, Chris Harris, you know who I'm imitating here. And it was G-Man. And he was just like, well, how you doing, Chris? He was real nice. I was like, what up, man? How you doing? He was just like, how you been? And I was like, I'm good. He says, well, you came in and can you tell us what you believe? And I said, I don't really have a religion, G-Man.
That sounds just like G-Man, man. Hey, we talk to G-Man. You think you on a Honda dealership or something like that, brother? What you trying to sell me, man?
Right, right. So what I did was I told him I wasn't here to debate. I said I noticed I just had an invite in my Google Hangout, and I was just I was just listening in. And he says, "Well, you got the floor. Do you believe in Jesus Christ?" And I had none hence. I just told him I was not there to debate, and they went right on in, setting you up for a debate. And I was just like, Lord have mercy. Okay. And I caught myself doing what I said I wasn't going to do. And I just happened to be on a break at work, and I started going in explaining. And here it is. I'm answering the questions, right? Because he said, who's the son of God? And I said, Israel is the son of God. It clearly tells you that in Exodus 4:22. You don't know what you're talking about. That's cherry picking scripture. It ain't even there. So he goes and reads it, and he says, thus saith the Lord, say unto the Pharaoh, Israel is my firstborn. He said, wait a minute. No, that's cherry picking scripture. And I said, how is it cherry picking scripture? How is it cherry picking scripture when that's what it says? You understand what I'm saying? So all of a sudden, Sister Sherry popped up on there. Still on that nonsense that we just got done talking about. Couldn't let it go. Wanted to get on there and get all emotional, right? But watch this. I answered every question, and then she said, what happened was the next day, they released a video saying Chris Harris denies questions, runs from questions from the Shield Squad or whatever it was. So Sal Showtime sent it to me. I'm like, what? And I'm all like, I answered every question. I'm all like, what scripture at that? But when you turned it on, same old shenanigans squad, guess what it was? They edited the video, and when you hit play on the video, I was talking. And I'm all like, there you go right there. And I was just like, and guess who did it? So real. And I was just all like, typical. But let me go back now, 18 hours. I text Sister Sherry, and I said, you attacked me with religion after I sat up. Everybody seen the post. You can go on LaRon's page and see the post, what I told her. I don't run from it. I stand behind that. And I said, how dare you attack me with religion? And I've already apologized to you. I said, don't call me anymore. You don't exist. You see what I'm saying? So now I said, you don't exist. You're dead to me. Because I'm at that point now where I can't take you no more because you're full of games. And you learn that. That's a learned behavior. It's no more than you had to check yourself and say, nah, I don't see it in you, Chris. Of course. But every man got his breaking point.
That's true.
Every man got a breaking point. And
hey, Chris.
What up?
Hey, let me add to it. It's like if you want to have a debate, like if that's what they trying to do with you or whatever, then have a debate about something, with the text or whatever, have a debate and do it civilized. But it's like every time they try to pull you in, they trying to find something to belittle you on, to try to destroy your credibility with the people. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, hey, if G-Man calling you in or LaRon calling you in and they want to have a debate on the text, then have a debate on the text, set it up the right way and then handle it. But that's not how they seem to get down, like over there. Seem like they like the drama. You know what I mean?
That's why I made the video that I made last time, is the tale of the contention seekers. I mean, it's on that whole thing. It seems like they just looking for anything, basically they're sharks in water, drop of blood in that water. As soon as they smell that, the feeding frenzy is on,
Right.
And it's crazy. So, man, so this wild. So not only that, you apologize to her about 2-3 times before. You already said you want to deal with it. You already dealt with the environment. I'm not going to go on the video and apologize. It ain't that serious. And here's the thing, too. If an apology is what mattered to you, if that's what you wanted to hear, then why was it good the first time? You didn't want an apology. You wanted the humiliation. You wanted something in public so you could point to and say, this is what it's about. Nah, I can't do that. So even after all that, in this debate here, she slid through and started some more stuff because you didn't do what you needed to do? Or she wanted you to do?
Correct.
Wow.
And then
I don't know what to say to that, man. Go ahead.
Okay, and then like I said, it from Saturday to Monday, that's when I saw your video. And it said Tale of the Contention Seekers. That was the name of it. Right. And I said, well, let me listen to this, because I remember I was like, that's the comic book voice dude. That's what I'm sorry I call people those things because I don't know I don't know their name. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, that's the comic book voice dude. Right. So I listened to it, right? And I was just all like, yup, there it go. And then it was like 3 minutes in, I'm all like, I'm an extremist. How? Because Bleedo know me, Yehukanan know me, anybody that knows me know I'm not even cut like that. We could say, like you heard me and Israel Doctrine on the phone last night. We was yelling at each other, but we was yelling at each other in love. Me and him always talk. I'm like, stop it. You see what I'm saying? But it wasn't nothing where we about to start fighting. He knew what was up because he knew I had him when I was going to go to show him XYZ. All right? You see what I'm saying? So he understands that I understand. That's why he wouldn't say nothing back. But the problem is, when I heard you say that, I said, okay, let me reach out to him. Because I understood your stance. Your stance is, I ain't like everybody else. Why you lumping me in with a Chris Harris? Right? And sometimes when we're all emotional, we tend to not think about what we're saying. So that's when I reached out to you. And I said, I reached out to you through Yehukanan. You see what I'm saying? It's no difference than when I met Bleedo. I met Bleedo on Facebook. And we was going at it about Paul's letters. And I was like, no, I don't like Paul's letters. And then Bleedo said, that's because you're not understanding them. You looking at them. What you say, Bleedo? I think he said you looking at them from the face value, from surface level. You're not understanding. Literal. Then literal, right. And then me and him, sometimes we be going at it about Paul's letters. I never thought I'd go back into reading Paul's letters again. You see what I'm saying? So I understand certain things about his letters are either figurative or literal. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I was able to go into a Galatians 5 or a Galatians 3 or Galatians chapter 1. Like, let me show you how I'm not extreme, or just give you another example. Yesterday, Carl and Brother Jay had that debate. So when they had that debate, and Bleedo was a witness to that, I was going to call up there and jump on Brother Jay. But I thought about it. I said, nope, I can't call up there and jump on Brother Jay, because if I jump on Brother Jay, I got to jump on Carl too. You know what I'm saying? And that wouldn't be fair. That would mean I'm putting my emotions first and not logical reasoning. So I said, I really don't have a dog in this fight, because both of them believe against my understanding. So if I jump on one, I got to jump on both. And I'm not showing no, and if I do that, I'm showing being a respecter of persons. And that wouldn't be fair to Brother Jay. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly what you said too. And then I don't know if you noticed, when Carl got cut off on the debate, I had got him back in. And I was still on the line listening, and then Carl had fell off, and they was in the overtime. So I had told Carl I'm still on the line, and he was like, call me and get me in. So I pulled him in. And then as I pulled him in, Sal had asked me, well, did I have any questions, or did I want to say anything? And I just played the fifth. I was just like, nah, I'm good. I'm just listening in. It's like what you said, I couldn't take a side because, you know what I'm saying, both of them in a sense, I didn't agree with. Well, I agree with Brother Jay in a sense, but, you know what I'm saying, I understood Carl's position as well. So I just I plead the fifth. I just rather not. I'm just listening to the debate. You know what I mean?
Okay, so it seems like we broke down a lot of false narratives in regards to your character, man. And I appreciate you coming up here and saying this. But is there anything else you want to like? We already talked about what advice you want to lead to them. Is there anything else that you wanted to speak about SOG, what they can improve upon? And because after all, SOG may be their own group. This ain't group banging. So anybody from SOG, anybody watching this video, don't watch this video saying Kevin and them. You know how that word goes around the block.
Yeah.
To be in them like we on one Confederate to do something. No, these your friends, right, man. These people, this is what we're talking about. Just take it. Let's talk about it. If you got a problem with it, send a message, do this. But don't do another video saying Kevin and them, and then starting this and them wars, and I'm going to be like LeBron and them, and then we banging it. It's like, let's not do all that. Right. So the main thing here is bringing humility to the platform. In fact, we should do this to each other in the manner that's good, because we're service to the people. Are we not? We're servants to the people. We're people who study this Bible. We get into this stuff. We study history. We study different things and things of that nature. And then we go on YouTube and we teach this stuff and present this stuff to the people. And there's people out there who don't really understand the Bible like that. All they can do is rely on people like us to say, well, let me weigh in this, let me weigh in that. But if they're going on YouTube and all they seeing is this video, they talking about them, and this one's they talking about them, and this one's they talking about them, it's like, man, it's like it's going to get crazy at this point. So hopefully I won't have to do any more of these, but this is what I vow to do. This is what I want to do. Now, I want everybody to notice that this video here is called Examining Chris Harris, a Personal Profile. What I'm going to do is that if I know a brother and he is slandered by that group or any other, and they don't really get it, because I'm tired of that in these hang. That's one thing I did not like. Did y'all see the video where we talked about Mikael? And they asked me the question, what did I think about that video? And when I was honest and sincere about that brother's character, who he was, and what he actually meant, I was kicked out of the room.
Yeah.
Just because I backed the brother. I'm like, no, the brother's not a racist. He's not that. I know him. He's not like that. Yeah, I seen that one too. So I was kicked out of the room for that. And I'm like, bro, that's not right. So what I'm going to do is, I know Mikael can handle his own and get his own videos together. He's with IOG. But I'm saying, I'm going to, like, let's say, for instance, somebody like Yehukanan, somebody else deal with them like Mac. And they do this whole thing and twist up what the brother's saying around and this, that, and the other. And then they put videos out saying that he's an extremist or racist, don't care, and this, that, and the other. And the brother clearly does work with white people. He talks to them. He's friends with them, this, that, and the other. I'm gonna do things like this. Let's examine you. Let's put your real story out there, and let's bring balance. You know, like Fox News, fair and balanced. So that's what I want to do. But go ahead, bro.
Yeah, man. You know, they tried to say that I hate white people. Surreal tried to paint a false narrative, because I said I don't trust them. But like I said, I don't trust even my own kind, because there's a lot of killing going around in my city, and it's more black on black crime. But how can you say I'm a racist or I hate white people just because I say I don't trust them off the bat?
Yeah, but we're gonna, you know, I don't know if I want to talk about any other situation. Like, I don't know if you wanted to touch on anything you working on, but I understand your latest situation is not something that we want to get into like that. But
no, we could, we can. That's okay. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Y'all my brothers and everything. I don't mind talking about it if you want to bring it up.
I mean, okay. So when it comes to the attitude on how they will initiate a debate or a talk with you, how have y'all been receiving that so far? Like, has it been like, oh, brother, I don't agree with you here, let's rap about it? Or was it more of a like fight talk? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Let me say, I had called into the show last night, right, with Brother Jay and Israel Doctrine. And I got no problems with Brother Jay. You know what I'm saying? I like his story of how he left the IUIC. You know what I'm saying? Like I told him, I said, the only thing I just wish you would have not stopped proclaiming that you was an Israelite. That's the only thing I told him. I said, the brother's talented. I got no problems with him. So I called in the show, and the first thing I said, hey, Brother Jay, I'm glad that you and your family is okay from that hurricane, because he's living in the Houston area. And at this time, Israel Doctrine was already, you know, he was already off the call. So I explained my position, and I asked Brother Jay a question. I'm like, look, I was like, about the circumcision, I'm like, look, you know, you don't have to be circumcised to get salvation. But I was like, if you're not circumcised, that person is not coming into the land, and they're not coming into the temple. And I quoted Ezekiel 44:9. So Brother Jay addressed my question a little bit. The Israel Doctrine came back in. Well, how about, you know, about 15, 20 minutes later, I get a text from Faithful to my inbox. And he came on disrespectful. He was talking like he was like, yo, like he a goon. So, you know what I'm saying? I told him, first of all, brother, you need to humble yourself, because pride comes before the fall. So the brother just kept going on. So I sent him a picture of you know what I'm saying, my M4. So it's like, what's that? I was like, yo, that's one of my wives. I said, bro, you need to leave me alone. You understand what I'm saying? And go on about your business. So he just kept coming on like, yo, I'll bring you on debate talk for you, and I'm gonna make an example out of you, and I'm gonna do all this, and I'm gonna do all that. And I'm like, look, bro, I'm like, you don't understand, bro. I was in the military. I got people, you understand what I'm saying, who work for the president, who can find you, can
Right,
get
right,
your
right.
address.
Hold on, but I understand that part, man. But you know what though? I also understand why you will go to 0 to 100 on that real quick. I understand that because I agree with you. That type of approach, that's not cool. Like we shouldn't, you know, talk about the Bible. We shouldn't be banging like that with the Bible like that. This is crazy.
Right.
It is inspired by the Most High God who created us, man. Like we can't be looking at it like, oh, let's do this, let's do that. You know, the whole speech he came with you, but that's crazy. Let's not do that, man.
Right. And see, I didn't mean to respond in my flesh, but it's like people who you work with, right? You see people at your job and they think the 4 buildings keep them safe. That 4 buildings only keep you safe while you're working. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't talk to me like that if we were face to face. You understand what I'm saying? Outside of work. So I'm like this. If you're going to talk to me, I'm a man. Talk to me with respect. So you think just because, you know, you don't have no pictures up or, you know, whatever, you don't ever show your face. I mean, you just feel real comfortable just being real disrespectful. But I'll come see you. You know what I'm saying? I'll come see you and look you face to face and let's see how you really talk. Not saying that I want to throw hands with the man or anything like that. But if you're going to come at me, come with respect because I'm not a disrespectful person. I always try to remain humble and I always try to remain peaceful. But I don't know, that night, man, I ain't gonna lie. Last night when he did what he did, it just really got me in my flesh. You know what I'm saying? It really got me into that point to like, look here, bro. You know what I'm saying? We can meet up. And I want to see how you act and how you talk then when we face to face. Not that coming and hitting in my inbox because first of all, the brother should have came at me with some respect. If he had a disagreement with what I believe, only thing we could do, let's look and let's share the information. You know, why do you see it that way? Why do you feel that way? You present why. But he's coming at me like I got to believe just what he say, just off the it's valid because of what he say. So I need to just believe it because that's what he say. And I've talked to the brother before, and I give him props. Now, Faithful, he has knowledge, but he doesn't have wisdom with his knowledge. He's puffed up. He just want to be right all the time. Now he ain't dumb. He's not smart. He knows scriptures. I give him that. I give him that respect. I respect him on that level.
Man. So I see Vocab Malone just came into my side chat here, and then I got a thumbs down on my video. What's the reason for that, man? Like, what's the reason? I don't get it, man. I'm not gonna say he did it because I don't know who did it, but I mean, come on.
Well, tell him come in. Tell him to come into the chat. What was he worried about coming in the chat? We're gonna respect him.
I wouldn't say he did it, but I just noticed that when he came in, somebody thumbed me down. I'm like, all right, man, that's cool. People open to their opinion, but the whole theme of this thing, this video is we try to straighten out the character of Chris Harris, and we talk about other things that's just been crazy. I wouldn't be complaining this much about them if I didn't know one of their members, really one of them for real. If this was So Real's channel, if this was Faithful to Guys and everything, I wouldn't even care. I probably would have just unsubscribed and said, bonk it, yo. Don't send me no more notification of this video. You know, but the dude, you know, I know him. And I'm more concerned about, you know, what's going on, what he's doing. Yeah, so I mean, yeah. Like as my brother James Cassell just said, no one cares about G-Con. Stop trying to get contending going on. And of course, I'm gonna straighten that out. He didn't say that in the way that nobody cares about G-Con. He has a lot of love for him. He's just saying, don't bring that in here right now, man. This ain't the time for it. But go ahead, bro. Go ahead, Ukana. My bad.
No, you good. You good. But no, like I said, the brother, he just be faithful to God. He just be puffed up with a lot of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? I give him the respect on the knowledge that he do know. But you have to have wisdom with that knowledge. You understand what I'm saying? G-Con, I got nothing but love for G-Con, man. You know what I'm saying? That brother is a very knowledgeable brother as well. I just hate the fact that when you don't agree with him, he starts trying to paint this propaganda or this false narrative about people. It's just like when he kicked you out the chat that night. He starts saying, because you told him to me and you talk, he's like, well, you know, he's been bad mouthing me to Yehukanan. And I had texted him and I put in the side chat, like, this brother has not. You have never bad mouthed G-Con to me. You understand what I'm saying? You've never said anything negative about that brother to me. You understand what I'm saying? We got love for that man. That man, I ain't gonna lie, out of everybody, he is very good, but everybody else around him make him look bad. They really do. They make him look bad. And it's like now he's not the same person that I met and talked to maybe 3-4 months ago. It's like he's changed.
Yeah, I would say the same thing too. I mean, I always seen the gung-ho, argumentative type of thing from him, but it never was. It got in this. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out what happened recently that this whole thing got blown. You know what? It's been since that GOCC James White thing. I think that caused a lot of divide among people. That debate between them two. And
yeah, I remember that one.
And ever since then, it's just been like a divide. Like it's been like brother against brother, all of that. And what your scriptures does say, it will do that. But I mean, this was on a whole nother level. It's just like you can't even study what to do no more. You can't really discuss anything no more. Like, I mean, it's just some crazy stuff, man. So yeah, I don't know, man. Hey, Bleedo, did you want to add anything, or you want to say something or add something to this?
Yeah, I'm gonna finish out with this, man. I just wanted to say that since it's about Chris Harris, man, that you know, me and Chris Harris on his character, man, and as far as him being extremist and everything, don't share, you know, a lot of similar beliefs, but we do share a lot of similar things. But you know, if he was an extremist, I don't think he would even, you know, have a conversation with me as far as, you know, as far as what we believe in and when we deal with the text. So, and that in itself shows that he has character and that he has humility and things of that nature, that he's even willing to sit down and have a conversation with somebody that don't even believe the same way that he does. That are extremists are those who say, if you don't believe what I believe, you're going to hell, or I don't want to talk to you no more. I'm not gonna deal with you. It's the same way as the people that they attack or the people that they going at with the One West doctrine. If they say you like this, or if you're not a part of this 12 tribes, in a sense, you're going to be slaves in the kingdom, in a sense. You know what I mean? It's kind of the same ideology. They try to just, you know, push him to the side or push anybody to the side that don't believe the way that they believe. You know what I mean? So those are the extremists. And I just wanted to, you know, like say, big up Chris Harris, that, you know, he's a solid brother. He has his teaching. He understands how to teach what he believes. And I have never really dealt with him or even seen, you know, in the sense that he's tried to slander people or attack people. You know, he's just dealing with the scriptures and he's breaking the scriptures down the best way that he knows, the best way that he knows how. So, you know, like I said, I've been around a lot. People know me, you know what I'm saying, and know what I believe in and get into. And that brother definitely deals with me and deals with Yehukanan and other people, you know, that don't believe the way that he does. So, you know, for them trying to tear him down, I'm gonna say that they are wrong for trying to tear his character down. I'm a witness to his character as far as him being a brother in knowledge, a brother in wisdom, and a humble brother. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to end with that, man. And I'm gonna say, y'all brothers have a good night.
All right, peace. Thank you.
Yeah, man, appreciate that.
Yeah, peace, Bleedo.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say that Chris is a good brother. You know what I'm saying? He's not no extremist. He's not no racist or nothing like that. He's not that picture that they try to paint of him. You know what I'm saying? That's me and him. We don't agree on everything. Some of our beliefs are somewhat different, but we talk every day. You understand what I'm saying? We talk every day. Now, what they're supposed to be doing, it seems like I'm kind of doing their job for them. For if they believe that Chris is what they would say non-messianic, then you should be showing him the love of the Messiah. You understand what I'm saying? I talk with Chris every day. Sometimes he rebuked me on some things. Sometimes I rebuke him on some things. And I've never once alienated myself from him because he may look at the Messiah different than I have. I've never alienated him. I've never shunned him. I've always showed him love, and he's done the same thing. And I think we got to get to a point to where we got to stop letting religious beliefs divide us. I think a person has the right to choose what God he wants to serve. I think he has the right to choose what religion he wants to be a part of. As long as we're respecting each other, you know what I'm saying, then that'd be the case. If you want to convert somebody, show me by how you live. Don't come banging the Bible all over my head. Now, if somebody asking you about the text, then that's your right to show your understanding of the text. But the main way you're going to witness to me or witness to anybody is by your living. So when you're supposed to be coming, saying that you're about the gospel of Christ, but then yet still when somebody don't agree with you, you turn around and start lying on them and making false accusations of them. Even the Bible says that lies is the devil is the father of lies. So why would you turn around if you're supposed to be representing Christ? Why would you get mad and then start painting a false narrative about somebody? So that stuff needs to stop. We need to come together in love. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, man, definitely. I have to say that spending time talking to Chris throughout this weekend so far, I think we first started talking Thursday. We spoke a good while on Thursday, and yesterday night, we were on the phone for a good minute. It was the four of us, and I got to know a lot more about what the brother's coming from. So then, I asked questions like, well, do you believe this? And he's like, no, I don't. And he's like, all right, well, you do believe in this? Well, yeah, I do. And it was like, as it started to form, I was like, this brother's not bad at all. Like, he's really on it. He's taking an honest view, and that's how it should be. It should be a genuine view. And here's the thing I want to say. Chris Harris, let's say he doesn't accept Christ or Jesus as the Messiah. But let's say you hear him one day, just saying, he says, I do believe that Jesus or Yeshua is the Messiah. You know that the brother took an honest route to that understanding. He's not just a brother just believing out of vain. You say to yourself, you got to say to yourself, man, if Chris Harris arrives to that conclusion, this brother really examined the evidence and found it through. And it will come out that way. But don't try to force the brother into a position or even go there. Let's examine stuff together. Let's examine the scriptures together. And then if he ever comes to that conclusion himself, man, that'll be a testimony of the scriptures itself. We don't need to force that down nobody's throat. This is crazy. So I would say, based on what we talked about, the interesting conversations we had among the four of us, I say he's a real good brother and okay in my book. And I'm glad that I'm doing this video because I want to show that. And I was going to leave it over to you, the last words to you, Chris.
No, I appreciate you letting me come on the platform and state my piece. I know sometimes a lot of Torah-based brothers, they get a bad rap, but I've never been one of those brothers. That was even told of me on Debate Talk for You radio. But the one thing I can't and won't tolerate is lies in my name. As far as the shield scar go, hey man, examine yourselves and examine yourselves thoroughly, just like I have to examine myself thoroughly. You understand what I'm saying? Like I said, I appreciate you letting me come on there. Let's all walk in peace and let's learn how to love each other, because we got to do that first before we can even open up these scriptures. And opening up these scriptures ain't about sitting up there banging on your brother. How can you open up the word of the Most High and then want to fight your brother and argue with your brother about it? So we all got some self-examining to do in regards to that alone. And my question to anybody who have a problem with the American Negro wanting to be Israel, it will be simply this: why not? Because those are God's people.
Wow.
That's what he wanted from the get-go.
Okay. I mean, that's a very good question. Everybody got an issue with saying, well, why not? You know what I'm saying? But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and close it out with that. I appreciate anybody that participated and gave the likes on the video, the thumbs up. And with that, I want to say shalom, and we out.
Peace.